from the east side of the state, so he drove a long way to be here. Put your hands together for David Lesnowski!
Todd, what is going on, man? How y'all doing? Good. Love the aha entrance music. Pretty good next time. Alex is talking about resolutions. I made a resolution this year. I don't normally do it, but as doing comedy more and more often, I feel like it's just setting goals for me. So my resolution is to do more shows out of state. So to kind of prepare myself, I started thinking about questions I would get when I go out of state. You know, people ask me, they announce me, who's from Michigan? Someone's going to say, U of M or MSU? My answer is Eastern. To me, those universities are a bit like the Kardashians. I couldn't afford to be with either of them, but even if you paid me enough money, I still wouldn't want to go there. And you might be thinking, like, okay, that's two universities. Who's who? Well, Kim is obviously U of M because, like a lot of people that go there, they try and be a lawyer. Second, Courtney is MSU because she's obviously got better taste in music, which is more with a party school vibe. And then you're thinking, where's Chloe? Well, Chloe's Ohio State, obviously, because no one likes Ohio State. But I'm not knocking the Kardashians. I dig them. In fact, like right now, fuck, marry, kill. I would marry Courtney, I would kill Kim, and I would fuck Chloe. Because I'm a Star Wars guy, and what Star Wars guy doesn't like a Wookiee? But, new you comes, new comics come in, older comics leave, and I wanted to make a resolution after talking to one of my comic friends. I asked him, where this one guy was. I hadn't seen him on the scene in a while, and it's like, oh, he's doing all right. He's actually headlining at a club. And I'm like, oh, that's great. And I know him, like, you think you could get me into the club? I could maybe like host or feature or something like that. He's like, he's doing great, but you can't go see him. Because it's the club's upstate. It's a real nice club though, real nice. He's doing all these other things with all these other comedians. They're all hanging out. They're like doing improv in the field, doing yes and routines and all that stuff like that. And I'm like, club upstate, that kind of like reminds me of like when my dog died and my parents said he went to live on a farm upstate. And my friend says, oh, it's kind of funny you should mention that, but I'm kidding. My dog's alive. Crazy times we're living in, folks. Crazy times. Lions are good and Kanye's terrible. Like, what kind of monkey paw deal did someone make to like let this happen to us? Like, the Lions are good enough now where they can make the playoffs. Even longer shot, they could actually go to the Super Bowl. And now Kanye is out there speaking all this right-wing craziness, man. I don't know. Like, when the Lions were at their worst, Kanye was at his absolute best. Do you remember that when Lions were 0-16? You know what Kanye was doing then? He just got 808s and Heartbreak. One of the most influential albums in the last 15 years. Without that album, you don't have Kid Cudi, you don't have Childish Gambino, and you don't have Drake for, unfortunately, whatever. But I just kind of hope that as the Lions get better, Kanye doesn't get any worse. Like, what would happen if Lions win the Super Bowl? What is Kanye going to do at this point? Like, he's already gone pretty far off the edge. I don't know how much further we can get with him. I don't know what I want to talk about tonight. Let's see. I'm a Bush guy. I'm not talking about the president. I think I'm a Bush guy, though, because I'm Mexican, and I like to do the lawn work myself. I think part of the reason, too, is, like, I can't grow a beard. Like this right here, this is about as good as I get. Like, this was me at beginning of No Shave November, this is me at the end of No Shave November. Like, when I'm going down on someone, like, I like to imagine some time what it's like to have a beard, just like, oh, wow, this is facial hair, huh? And it's going very well. When I'm going down on someone, I like to imagine what it's like to have a beard and I'm eating a glazed donut.
I bet they love that.
I love it too, bro. I use sex toys in the bedroom, I know a lot of guys are a little weary about that. I think they feel like it takes like some of like the power away from them for whatever reason. But I use sex toys because I'm a nice guy, and nice guys finish last. But that's because we make sure our partner comes first. Some of you got that. Some of you didn't. Some of you aren't nice guys. That's why. But I do like a little bit of weird stuff in the bedroom, and I'm pretty open about it, just because I think if you keep that stuff like repressed or inside you, it kind of fucks you up a little bit. And by that, I'm talking about Donald Trump. Now, if you don't know what Donald Trump's thing is, I'm going to remind you, his thing is golden showers. And I know this because that's what they said in the Steele dossier. That's what the Russians are blackmailing with. He's a Russian agent or whatever. And I'm not kink shaming him at all. I'm not. In fact, I think he should have leaned into that more. Because could you imagine how different January 6th would have gone if he'd gotten the kink vote? Like, rather than a bunch of, like, in-the-closet Proud Boys you had rushing the Capitol, you had a bunch of guys who'd be dressed like the Gimp from Pulp Fiction. Like, what are you doing to stop them? You can't hit them with the batons. They're just going to get off on that. But there is, like, the reverse of that, though. Like, when people are just, like, way too open about their sex stuff. And by that, I'm talking about Joe Biden. And Joe Biden's thing, you can't figure that out, is edge play. And I know this because he keeps teasing me about forgiving my goddamn student loans. Like, who has student loans out here right now? Yeah, it sucks, right? But remember how good it felt when we didn't have to pay him? Like, we don't have to pay him right now? It felt good, right? It's just like, oh, Joe, you can relax a little bit. This feels nice. It's one of those massages you're famous for. And then the first deadline was coming up, and I'm just like, all right, it's going to happen. There's a campaign promise. And then he's like, oh, we're going to push the deadline back a little bit more. I'm like, ooh, Joe, you tease. And then the second deadline was coming up again. I'm like, all right, here we go. That full release is going to happen. He's like, oh, we're going to push it back again. I'm like, Joe, you're going to turn these blue balls into red balls, man. Seriously. I don't really care for either political party, you can tell. I find Republicans to be especially cruel and Democrats to be especially useless. Democrat is about as useful as a cop during a school shooting. And that's where I'll leave you on that one, folks. My name is David Lesneski.